It may be the first time, but it's certainly not the last. RJ Young totally disrespects the Sun Belt. Locked on Sun Belt.
You are Locked on Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked on Sun Belt, your teams every day-ish. Sorry about that. We'll get to that in a second. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Join all the action at FanDuel.com to play daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer this MLB season. We'll give you some potential early storylines. Sun Belt does receive some votes in the AP Top 25, and we'll get to RJ Young disrespecting the Sun Belt here momentarily. I apologize for the late and the tardiness of this episode. Severe thunderstorms yesterday, last night, and even this morning. It was the internet was a little shaky on the way to the gym. The traffic lights were out, so we're waiting until better power, and we got it now. So I do apologize. All right, so RJ Young, Fox Sports, and I get it, and have figured this stuff out a little bit. Some of this stuff is done for engagement. All right, I do it. Others do it. It is a thing. All right. Cloverleaf Mall is the best at doing it. All right. It is. That is one of the great follows, not only in the Sun Belt, but anywhere. All right. Does a great job. Some of it is for engagement. Some of it is, our opinion, but some of it is for engagement. So they did RJ Young ranked Fox Sports. I don't know how we're not going to see up close and personal here, but ranked all 138 teams. All right. And that's, fine. You got Georgia's number 3, Oregon's number 4, Texas number 5. I think that's Indiana number 6. I can't see it. Let me see if I get closer to that. I'm not so worried about all those things at the top. Not going to really bother me all that much, and it is IU at the top. Okay. My problem was, and I don't even really mind that the Sun Belt is ranked incredibly low, and this guy's going to get me to defend Texas State. That's what are we doing here? We're defending Texas State? Okay. And so you could see them all there. And being the Sun Belt guy, I'm generally going to start from the bottom end, to be honest with you, and go and see where we are. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I'll be honest with you. It took me a minute it did take me a minute to get to JMU. All right. Because I saw the Sun Belt. I don't know if it was going to be the Bulldog or JMU, but it took me a minute to get there. So here is I'm good at this. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I don't even mind. Well, we can't see it so much. All right. So I'm just going to read it because we can't see it. I'll just stay here. You guys can see what is, generally speaking, a good hair day. All right. Let me see if I can find it so I can see it, most importantly. All right. So JMU is 103. And I don't even mind that Sunbelt is ranked low. My big problem is that RJ Young spent no time looking into the Sunbelt. All right. If you want to have anybody from the Cajuns to ODU to JMU to Marshall to Troy among the best, okay, you can take any one of those, and every fan base would have the reasons for or against on why that happened. Okay. Again, we're talking Texas State here for a second. Texas State, want to know this, is below Georgia State. What are we doing? Right? What do we do? So in the Sun Belt, you got JMU 103, you got App State 104, and you got Southern Miss 105. Again, I'm a big Blake Anderson fan. I think he's a solid football coach. I think he's a very good football coach. I think they're going to struggle this year. All right. I think Southern Miss fans think they're going to struggle this year. Don't be surprised if they're competitive and pull off an upset or two. But if Blake Anderson gets this team to a bowl game, he could be the coach of the year. He'll certainly get some votes. They're not top 5 in the Sun Belt. Now, I'm disrespecting Southern Miss, so I apologize. That's not the goal of this thing. But it's just that he didn't take any time to look at this. That's all. That's my biggest problem, is that he took no time at all to have Southern Miss ahead of ODU, Troy, and Marshall. To have Arkansas State ahead of the Cajuns. We know who one quarterback is. We don't know who the other is. Again, things change. Maybe Arkansas State's quarterback will be better than Lunch Winfield. Maybe Lunch Winfield gets hurt. Who knows? But some of these rankings, he just, again, maybe he did it just to get the engagement, which, again, you know, I get 1,000 views on my X file on my feed. That's a good amount. We'll have over 5,000 by the end of the day on just that tweet where I called out RJ Young. And you can't say I didn't tag him because I tagged him. All right. But I said he's just looking for engagement, and that's what he got. And that's what he's getting. And so that's my problem. It's not so much that the Sun Belt is ranked too low, which they are, that they're not ranked in any sort of a semblance of order. We got Malachi Singleton as quarterback for App State. We do know that. All right. We have no idea how he's going to play. Right. We don't know much about ODU in terms of Quinn. We know Quinn Hinnacl is going to be there, but we don't know how well he's going to play, although I did pick them to win it. All right. Win the East anyways. But when you got, where was Georgia State? So at the bottom of the Sun Belt is not a big surprise. Let me see if I can find it here. Again, I'm not going to be able to, that's not it. Hold on a second. All right. So South Alabama is 114. Coastal Carolina is 115. ULM 116. Georgia State 117. Okay. And then you can't see that. Georgia State is 121. I'm sorry. Georgia Southern is 121. Come on. Really? That's a problem for me. So my biggest issue is that he didn't spend 10 minutes looking into this. All right. Could have waited. I mean, he did wait, right? This is August. We had the preseason teams come out last month. And again, I'm not sure what coaches know. The media doesn't vote on it. I don't know what the media knows. Preseason teams don't mean that much because these coaches don't know what they have. But at least they realize some of the talent in the conference belongs to Marshall, right? You got 2 offensive linemen. You got a tight end. You got a wide receiver. And the quarterback is all first team preseason all Sun Belt. How many of first team preseason all Sun Belt on Southern Miss? Just saying. So unless RJ Young, and we could be wrong, I have no problem coming back saying I'm wrong. All right. Southern Miss ends up competing for the West. We'll come back here and say I'm wrong. But heading into the season, he didn't spend any time on these rankings. Now, if he just wants to do the top 25 and have Texas, Georgia, and Miami complain about where they were ranked, and all that gets played out, although so will the Sun Belt. But it's that he didn't spend more than 30 seconds doing this. I wouldn't doubt, how could I get the most engagement from these conferences? And that's how he ranked them. We'll put JMU up there. We'll put App State up there, but then we're going to stick Southern Miss in there. Now, unfortunately, Southern Miss has a much better chance at winning 3 or 4 games than they do 8 or 9. All right. And again, I do not mean to disrespect Southern Miss. All right. Again, could be competitive, could upset a couple of clubs, but even Blake Anderson admitted it may take, we may have to revisit this next year to see where we are, basically, is what he said. All right. Wouldn't give me anybody in the 2 deep because he didn't know. So that's the only thing. It's one thing to rank all 138 teams, which ESPN did, but it's another thing for Fox to not take 30 seconds and do it. All right. It wouldn't be surprised if it was AI who did it. basically. I wouldn't be surprised. All right. There's that. That was the bad news. Then we didn't sort of wait. We waited until just afternoon to start recording this because we wanted the AP votes released, or the AP vote to be released. And we will do that and tell you about that right after I tell you about 5 Hour Energy. If you got a sweet tooth like I do, and I do, you know how tough it is to find the perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shot brings this nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. This is a classic cotton candy taste you remember, but with a tasty caffeine boost and 0 sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. I have always loved cotton candy, but I can't be eating sweets all day. This is the perfect alternative. It's become my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. Bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shots. Available online now at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. And it's big. That sponsor is coming back as we will be up late watching football this fall and getting ready to go back to work the next day. So I'm looking forward to the cotton candy flavor of 5 Hour Energy. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. AP came out with a vote, their top 25. And we take that with a grain of salt as well. It's much more for conversation and sports talk, for that fact of the matter. All right, AP top 25, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, IU, Indiana, A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. I don't think there's any big surprise in any of this. Penn State is 18th. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Remember, Marshall goes into Penn State. That's going to be one of the early season stories we talk about in there. Tennessee is in there. Missouri's 25. Louisville here is 24. So no huge surprises. Ohio State's number one, if that matters to you. But what does matter to me, and we're not going to be able to see this again on the screen, but we'll put it up there. Now, there were no Sunbelt teams in the top 25. All right. But we do have, and we'll get the votes. We'll find out who did this. Eventually, they will release the votes. Someone will release the votes. Who voted for, wait for it, the Cajuns and JMU? Look at that. The Cajuns got 4 votes. And JMU got 3 votes. Just to let you know, just to give you an idea of who that's more than, Auburn got 3 for the Cajuns, more than what the Cajuns got. JMU and Auburn match. Memphis got 2. California got 2. Liberty only got 1. Western Michigan got 1. Tulane got 1. And Virginia got 1. Those getting 4. UNLV, New Mexico, and Georgia Tech. All right. So that is huge. That the Sunbelt teams and the Cajuns are banged up already. I mean, another wide receiver is out, I think with a broken collarbone. It is a thing. And they're going to USC in week 2. But I don't know if the Cajuns, I think they're not going to win that football game. All right, I don't think they're going to win that football game. But if they can play competitive in that football game, maybe they start getting more votes. And if they can somehow, can they start off early 3-1? Because if they can start off early, I think it's 3-1. Let's see if that schedule is working for me. All right. So they get Lamar. You got to win that ball game. That's at home. You get UAB at home, and then you're at Charlotte. If they start off 3-1, they get Arkansas State. That's at home. They're at La Tech. All right. So maybe 4-2. That's obviously that's the end of the playoff run. But you get Troy after that. And all of a sudden you're 5-2. You go on the road, you're Southern Miss, you're 6-2. You get South Alabama coming back home. Is that 7-2? And then again, this is a very winnable schedule. All right. If you can stay healthy. And I'd say that's mostly Lunch Winfield, but here's the other thing I'm going to look about for the Cajuns. If they are lack of depth in the wide receiver, and the other teams will make the adjustments, obviously, you have to adjust your offense a little bit. You got to be, they already are run heavy per se, but they may need to be more run heavy or somehow change up the offense a little bit. Obviously, it's easy to adjust the defense if they're just going to run. You got to pass it a little bit, but that's going to be an issue if the Cajuns wide receivers keep on getting banged up. As far as JMU goes, getting 3 votes, and again, a lot like getting picked to win the Eastern Division is more on reputation. And it's a well-deserved reputation, to be honest with you, right? Whether it's Kurt Segnetti or Bob Chesney, they're pretty good. All right. And obviously last year got into the college football playoff. 1 loss on the road to Louisville. Blowout win against ODU, which was the big ball game. Okay. And ODU had played Indiana as tough as anybody last year. So now JMU's getting 3 votes. Now, JMU does not have their tough ball game. They get Liberty on the road. You know, if you lose that one, we're not going to hear the end of it. I don't happen to think Liberty's very good. Do we want to know where? I'm not going to be able to. Well, let me see if I can see it. Where RJ Young did Liberty. I feel like it's in the 60s. Yeah, they're 68. All right. Almost smack dab in the middle, basically. Right? 136. Oh, that's one. Yeah, that'd be 136. All right. Then he did 138. All right. So Liberty, I believe that's Liberty, is 68th, just for the sake of conversation. But JMU is getting Liberty. They do have to go out and play San Diego State. Let's see where. I didn't see San Diego State get any votes here, right? In AP, no. And you know what? I'm never going to be able to pick out San Diego State in this logo here. I apologize. So yeah, I won't be able to pick it out all that fast. So I do apologize. I don't know where San Diego State is ranked, and I don't really feel like going over it a lot. Okay. Not easy. My Orange are ranked 90th. That's not great. Not great. Anyways, JMU has a shot to get off to a really good start. Then, again, their votes will go up. Beat Liberty, and depending on who else wins or loses, you may actually be in the top 25, and that's on ESPNU. What happens if you beat up Liberty? That's at home. It's on ESPNU. We'll just say 35-10. I don't have any idea what that is. I'm sure the line is much closer than that. But say it's 35-10. You're going to be in the top 25. Then you get Wagner, and then you go out west to play San Diego State. No one's going to be watching that ball game because it's 10 p.m. Eastern time. But say you come away with a win over San Diego State, then all of a sudden you're 3-0 and you're taking on Old Dominion, and that'll be a big ball game. That'll get some TV coverage there. So, anyways, the AP, not disrespecting the Sun Belt, Cajuns got 4 votes, which is nice, and JMU got 3. Cajuns got 1 more vote than Auburn, and JMU got the same amount of votes as Auburn, 3. All right, what are some potential early season storylines? All right, I'd like to hear from you on this one as well. You guys let me know, and we'll do that. I will let you know what I think right after I tell you about FanDuel. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's going to hit a homer today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games. Whether you're following your favorite team or keeping an eye on matchups across the league, every game has someone capable of going deep. Now you get the chance to make your prediction before the first pitch. There's certain players where every bat feels like something big could happen, say like Ohtani or Kyle Schwarber. That's what makes Daily Dingers fun. You get to go back to the player you think is ready to go deep that day. So you ready to play our game today? Join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Extremely tardy with today's episode. I apologize for that. Power issues. And then I waited until noon for the AP vote to be out. So I do apologize for that. All right. Early season storylines, again, is going to be who can the Sun Belt upset? Even Josh Pate put it out there, although not Sun Belt. We don't want to get carried away. Josh Pate put it out there that there is a huge upset going to happen on week 1. And it's staring us in the face. But who's it going to be? All right. I mean, again, this is just week 1. You got Marshall taking on Penn State. JMU's playing Liberty. All right. Coastal's going into West Virginia. Rich Rod is looking for extra players. He is short players. I don't know if people are hurt. I don't know if they're short on scholarships or whatever. I don't know if he's joking or not. But he was asking for the student body to try out because he's short players. Let's see who else we got. Week 1. Arkansas State's at Memphis. ULM at Mississippi State. Personally, ULM would be a much bigger upset over Mississippi State than Marshall is at Penn State because we think Marshall is good and we're not so sure about Penn State. All right. Mississippi State was much better last year than I thought. We're hoping ULM is better. That would be a bigger upset if somehow ULM beat Mississippi State. All right, week 2, you got Old Dominion and Va Tech. That one, you don't think that's not being circled at Virginia Tech. And is that an 11 a.m. football game? Holy cow, is that early? All right, App State going on the road to East Carolina. That's big. South Alabama, Tulane. That's big. Georgia Southern, Clemson. Okay. La Tech taking on LSU. Southern Miss is at Auburn. And the Cajuns, USC. There are a lot of opportunities here. There really are. I would circle Troy and Missouri. What about if La Tech is good? They go into Baylor. And that's going to end up doing it. Georgia Southern going to Jack State. That's sneaky. Potential upset. San Diego State will probably be favored against JMU, depending on how the season starts for these two teams. But it's a home game, and JMU is going across the country. All right. So that is going to be one of the early storylines, and then all the new quarterbacks. Right. That is, who's. I got to look at standings to remember all the teams. But who are the quarterbacks? We got the App State quarterback. We don't know the Coastal Carolina quarterback. We don't know the JMU quarterback. We don't know the Arkansas State quarterback. We don't know the Southern Miss quarterback. That's 4. Is that many? That's not that many. Right? We know App State. We know Georgia Southern. We know Georgia State. We know Marshall. I think we know Old Dominion. All right. If Quinn Hennickel's not starting, one of 2 things happened. He got outplayed or he got hurt. That's 5. We know the Cajuns quarterback. We know La Tech's quarterback. We probably know South Alabama's quarterback. And we know Troy's quarterback. So that's 9. That's right. My understanding is that there would be no math, right? Did I get that right? I think I may have not counted Old Dominion. All right. There's 14. We should know 10 quarterbacks. So the early quarterbacks, and who impresses? Because although we do know some of these quarterbacks, does Quinn Hinickle impress? Malachi Singleton impress? Does the JMU quarterback impress? What about our guy, Carlos Del Rio Wilson? Is he impressive to begin with? What does Lunch Winfield look like? That's where it's going to be. All right. And then on the other side, La Tech, defensively, they were pretty good last year. And if they give up, as their defender said at Sunbelt Media Days, 21 points a game, they're going to be tough. If La Tech brings a little defense into the, well, that's not fair because I think JMU, was it ODU? Who had the bet? Someone had a good defense in addition to JMU last year. Let me see here. It was Old Dominion. All right. So JMU gave up just over, one gave up 18.4 points a game. The other one gave up 18.5 points a game. All right. Then you go all the way to Troy, and it's almost 24 points a ball game. All right. And so, especially on the other side, where JMU scoring 37, Old Dominion 32, Marshall 30, Southern Miss was 29. Whereas you go to the Conference USA, they didn't have those kind of explosive offenses. All right. So we'll see if there is any defense in the Sun Belt. And then, year two coaches, Gibson with Marshall, and of course, Dowell Loggins with App State. And then you have quote-ish new coaches. Really, the only new coach to the Sun Belt is Ryan Beard off the top of my head, right? But, JMU's got Billy Napier, new to JMU. Blake Anderson, new head coach at Southern Miss, although not all that new, so to speak. All right. So you have upsets, quarterbacks, and coaches and defense. Let me know what you guys think are going to be some storylines. And here's the other storyline that we're going to get. We always get this one, injuries. All right. The Jets can't go 2 weeks and they just lost their running back. Jeez. Even, is it Bryce Love? Breece Hall, and the Jets is banged up. And Bryce Love for the Cardinals, banged up. All right. That's always it. We've never had this many injuries. We always have a bunch of injuries. All right. Some teams seem to have them more than others, but we always have a bunch of injuries because it's a contact sport. And so we'll see where we are with that. I guess nationally, it's going to be, one of the teams I didn't give out was if South Alabama is any good, could they come into Kentucky and beat them? Because again, that may be more about Kentucky than South Alabama. I'll be honest with you. They get one game, then they get Alabama, then they get A&M, then they get South Alabama, and then they get Mississippi State. That's brutal if you're Will Stein and you wanted that coaching job. So that's brutal. All right. So again, upsets, quarterbacks, coaches, and specifically does La Tech and anybody else bring the defense. All right. So we'll see how that is. All right. We will have, plan is, since I am off today, another episode for Tuesday. All right. So I do apologize for that. Please subscribe. My fault Power Company's fault, but it wasn't even their fault. It was a massive thunderstorm. So it seemed like it landed on my head last night and was issues early in the morning. So I do apologize for the tardiness of this episode, but let me know what you think. All right. Please subscribe. Locked On Sunbelt. Also Apple and Spotify. Please like and share all those videos. It's a big help. All right. That's how the message gets out. We're going to start promoting it a little bit beginning next week. All right. I'll tell you right now, we're going to do coaches Monday and Tuesday. We're going to rank the coaches from each division Monday and Tuesday. And we're going to see if those play out throughout a month or so. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Getting this posted as soon as I can. All right. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day-ish. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.